motherfuckers think that just because a guy reads comics he can't start some shit? I'll fucking take all you want!
No violence. You're heavy.
Home again, home again.
You betray the law!
Class is Pain 101.
This one's for you, boy.
I guess one person can make a difference.
Okay, welcome to the panel cast. Yeah, the long-awaited, long-overdue. People have been clamoring for this. We've been getting requests. I've been getting requests forever, for a million years, however long it's been since the last panel cast I recorded. It's been a fucking eternity. I am here again to bring you all that good panel cast stuff. The thing. All the thing that you like. I'm joined here once again by my co-host, the lovely, sober Susie.
Hello.
Otherwise known as Boozy Floozy. She's sober Susie today. Well, not that sober. More like silly pilly, I guess. We're on drugs. So this week... So I did a... It's been a long time since the last panel cast. We actually did one recently that never saw the light of day. Back in February, we did a panel cast. Do you remember that?
I wish I didn't.
It was never released. It never saw the light of day. It was because I got home from RadCon 2 around like halfway through January. My room was completely flooded. My whole life was devastated. I couldn't go in my room for like a month because it was getting like fumigated and cleaned and stuff. All my stuff was out of here. It was a whole disaster. It put me like way behind schedule and everything. The fucking Plebe and the Weeb still isn't out yet. I know. I'm sorry. Quit yelling at me. It'll be out soon. But you know, it was I got so fucking addled and behind schedule and everything. But somewhere in that, sitting here in this like fumigated room, breathing in like the funguses, which also made me sick for like 3 weeks, sitting in this like fumigated like moldy ass room, I got on Discord with you and we recorded a long distance panel cast. And I was really a silly pilly that night.
Oh, yeah.
So I was just bouncing off the fucking walls to the point where, like, listening to it back, I'm like, this must never be seen. No one can hear this. So that one was lost to time, lost to the annals of history.
Lots of talk about Nazi dongs.
Nazi dongs? Oh, yeah, because I came up with a great new meme. Nazi dong. It's like the Android dong meme, only it's, a little bit updated, a little bit classier, a little classic American history.
It's definitely up to date considering what's going on right now.
Yeah,
with Marvel.
Secret Empire, the Captain America. He's an undercover Nazi now. He's been brainwashed by the Red Skull. Nazi dong. It kind of sounds like Mao Zedong, the Chinese emperor, the dictator back in the Mao Zedong. But that's different from Nazis. What was I? If this this must never be seen. Trash this.
You were talking about how your life was in shreds.
Yeah, it was in shreds. It still is. I mean, it's been perpetually in shreds for the last fucking,
6 years? 7 years?
6 years, 7 years, 27 years. Who's keeping score?
Right.
But, yeah, so just today, I mean, and plus, I haven't done jack shit this entire month. You've been here. You and I have been, like, in a vault. Just, like, I've been avoiding the internet. I don't know what's going on. I really hope that, like, when I came out of the vault, everything would be gone. Like, the whole internet would have been, like, destroyed. It would have been, like, a Twilight Zone. Like, I finally have time now. There's time enough at last. And then my glasses break or, whatever. Or my hands fall off, like Futurama. But no such luck. As far as I know, the internet still exists, and all that I've done is delayed. All that I've done by delaying myself for the month is just building up more of a backlog of stuff to work on and videos to watch and podcasts to catch up on. It's a nightmare. But yeah,
but to be fair, we have been working. Like you got a lot done.
I managed to make that Zelda video. That's about it.
You sure did.
Me and Gibbon started a great podcast that I'm excited about. That's fun.
And we've got some other videos that are gonna be coming out.
Yeah, you and I recorded a shit ton of Let's Plays. This is not comics. This is a different podcast coverage. I don't even know.
Yeah.
So anyways, so you and I earlier today, we just finally went through like my stack of destroyed and dilapidated comics, or some of them anyways.
Fucking tragic. Like, there were some Old Man Logans in there, and my heart just broke.
all the comics all the long boxes that just got soggy and ruined in the flood, I have deliberately put off looking at them to surmise the damage. I haven't done it yet because I was scared of and yes, we finally went through some of them, not the whole stack, but some of them, and it's worse than I thought. It's terrible. I've lost a lot in this most recent tragedy.
There are at least 2 trash bags that we have set aside right now, full of
Yeah,
comic books.
I mean, we made a whole list of all the comic books that I need to replace. Ultimate X-Men 10, 20, 21, Amazing Spider-Man 43, 42, 41, 40. Number 8 was a question mark because it was like some miniseries. I didn't know what it was. 526, 525, 524, 522. Wolverine 24, 22, 19, 18, 17, 16, 8, 7, 5, 1. Some of those were like my favorite comics ever that I grew up on. The Greg Rucka Wolverine.
The Jason Aaron Wolverine.
The New Avengers 7, Wolverine 23, 49, 43, 44, 36, 34, 33, 32, 32. I wrote 32 twice. 30. Teen Titans Go number 42, which you said would be worth a lot.
I think I don't take my word for it immediately. It's just I feel like I specifically remember something about the old, like the original Teen Titans Go series.
It's not the Teen Titans Go that people now associate it with, the new cartoon.
No, there was an actual comic series before Teen Titans Go on Cartoon Network that was about the original Teen Titans that we saw.
It followed the anime series, the anime cartoon series.
And the specific issue that he's talking about that got destroyed was the one about Raven's multiple personalities.
Yeah, if you remember, there was an episode where Beast Boy finds the mirror into Raven's mind. He meets all these multiple, not personalities, but multiple moods of Raven that she tries to suppress normally.
The color spectrum of Raven.
So Teen Titans Go number 42, which is the issue that got fucking destroyed in the flood, it was a sequel to that episode where her moods like got loose and like wreaked havoc. Yeah. So that was destroyed. I was sad about that one because that was a cool little issue.
The one that I was sad about was your Batman 49, your Neil Adams variant.
Oh yeah, it was a cool variant, like this like really cheesy cover of Batman just being like no, no, no with like 5-word balloons. It was cool, but yeah.
Anyway,
there's just the
list goes on.
The list goes on. There's tons of comics. Executioner's Song, which is a really terrible 12-part series from the early 90s. It's terrible, but I've had it since I was a kid, so I feel bad because all of them are ruined.
12-part series? I thought it was longer than that.
It might have been longer than that. I mean, the comics are fucking...
Yeah, whatever.
All my Old Man Logans almost, all my House of M's.
There was only a few Old Man Logans. It wasn't that tragic for that one, but still tragic enough. Because they're all first printings.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. I have a lot of rebuilding to do, but still, I mean, no one sees the damage. No one, no one sees the long process of rebuilding, reclaiming, redesigning, of picking up the shattered pieces of your life. You go stand at ground zero. There's like a whole new tower there right now. No one, a 10-year-old kid would never even know that like 2,000 people died on that fateful day on September 11, 2001. Yes, I am comparing me losing a bunch of comics to 2,000 people senselessly losing their lives on 9/11. It is just as important of a historical tragedy to me. You look astounded.
I have no words.
You're right. It's worse than 9/11. I'm sorry. It's much worse.
Oh my god. Hey, let's talk about comic books.
Yes,
I know we've been talking about comic books, but let's talk about
comic books.
Yeah,
yes. Okay. So I mean, I guess the biggest thing to talk about right away is like the X-Men Gold and X-Men Blue.
Yeah. So before we strive straight into those, like if for some of you unaware, I'm a little bit out of touch with comic books right now, so Jess is probably gonna have to catch me up on some things.
You haven't been reading all month.
But if you haven't been paying attention, the whole X-Men Gold and X-Men Blue has stemmed from the Uncanny X-Men and the Extraordinary X-Men ending due to not AVX. God damn it.
Due to being
IVX.
terrible. Due to being terrible for 5 years.
Okay, first of all. Okay. Extraordinary X-Men was good. Come on. And Uncanny X-Men has been good.
Look, man, I'm not talking just... People are disgruntled about the X-Men. People have been for a while. A lot of fans are not happy.
You can thank Fox for that, and you can thank Disney for that, because until Fox can relinquish some kind of hold on the X-Men or whatever, they don't have their fucking copyright.
So, I mean... X-Men Gold and X-Men Blue is Marvel's relaunch. It's their attempt to get the X-Men back to some semblance of a status quo. Not necessarily the status quo, but just a status quo. Just something that makes sense.
Kind of. Everything is stemming from the whole Inhumans versus X-Men thing that happened.
Yeah.
Because not only did the X-Men get a new series, they got 2 new series, and Inhumans also got 2 new series as well. The Royals and Black Bolt's gonna have a. I think Black Bolt already came out.
All those Inhuman fans. There's so many of them. They're just clamoring for more Inhumans.
You know what? You trash on the Inhumans, but I actually have a lot of customers.
Fuck the Inhumans. The Inhumans are the Roman Reigns of comic books.
Ooh, fighting words. I have a lot of customers that really like the Inhumans, but I know where you're coming from. I really enjoy some of the Inhumans. I specifically enjoy Black Bolt. Black Bolt to
Yeah,
me.
everyone likes Black Bolt. I like
But
Black
he's
Bolt.
fucking beautiful. He's a beautiful man, and I love him very dearly.
I did. You know what? I really loved the Karnak series.
Thank you.
It was
Fucking
good.
thank you.
And I mean, after reading it, like I'm still not sure that I like Karnak. I think
I don't
as a
know if you're
character.
supposed to.
Yeah, he's basically the worst person ever. But it was a good series, so.
I actually have like a picture that I saved in my phone of him talking about how everyone is meat and doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And like I relate to it on a
So,
spiritual level.
Karnak is an Inhuman. He's just this. The Inhumans get their power from this Terrigen mist that they inhale. It gives them their powers at a certain age. Karnak he never inhaled it, so he has Inhuman DNA, but he's just a regular guy. He doesn't have Inhuman powers, but he raised himself so studiously as like this warrior monk. He basically has powers without having powers, to where he can. His main ability is that he can see the flaw in everything, which is really interesting. Like, he can see the flaw in someone's fighting style, for example, and he can pick them apart. He can see the flaw in Iron Man's armor and like know how to beat up Iron Man. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't just extend to fighting. The really interesting thing about this power is that it's not just a power, it's a philosophy, where he can see the flaw in everything. He can see the flaw in philosophies or like beliefs or religions. So the result is that he's just this completely bitter, misanthropic nihilist who like hates everyone. He believes that all life is meaningless, that everyone is just meat. He's just a complete asshole. I don't even know like why he bothers like doing anything. He just like he just sits around in his tower staring at a wall all day, meditating about how shitty everyone is. Basically my life, except instead of sitting, I pace. But
but it's really well written, and Karnak is only a miniseries. I think it was 12 issues long. If I really liked it. I don't put it up there with Vision per se, because Vision made me cry, but I really enjoyed Karnak, and it's one of those series where if somebody's like, well, I don't know anything about the Inhumans, I don't know anything about what, like, I just want something that I can read that's standalone, and Karnak, his own series actually really was kind of standalone. Yeah. And I really like him. Now, the Karnak series ended, and unfortunately for Karnak, this is where I start getting a little depressed. He is now a part of an Avengers team. Oh. I don't know if you've seen it.
That sounds kind of weird and sad.
Well, it's weird because he's teamed up with a bunch of children. It's like the weirdest fucking team up in the world. Like, it's like Miss Marvel and Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, some other like girl that nobody gives a shit about. And I'm just looking at this because it was in a previews book, and I'm pointing at it. I'm just like, one of these things is not like the other. Like, what the fuck are you doing, Karnak? Why are you here?
So, I mean, I think the Inhumans suck. I hate them. I want them to go away. But if you're interested in the Inhumans, if you want to understand the Inhumans, I guess the best place to start would be Karnak, because it was a really good miniseries. It was only 6 issues.
6 or 12
Told
issues,
a complete story, told a good story. It was interesting.
Yeah, 100% agree on that one.
He's certainly an interesting character to read about, even though I don't know if he's a fun character to read about.
Well, to be fair, like, I don't know, some of the best characters don't always make you feel good, to be fair. But I like him. Anyway.
So, yeah, X-Men Gold and X-Men Blue, stemming from the fallout of
IVX,
Inhumans versus X-Men. A whole lot of nothing happened. Emma Frost is like full bad guy now because she's pissed off because Scott died.
You like 1,000%. I was right there with you when you told me that this fucking world does not deserve Emma Frost.
Yeah. The X-Men don't deserve Emma Frost.
No, nobody does.
She's perfect. She's a wonderful person.
I have always loved Emma Frost, but I have also always hated the Phoenix.
Same.
And Jean Grey. Like, Jean Grey is just she's such a dullard.
She's just such a non-character. There's nothing to her.
But I think you and I already talked about this, how she was just kind of the jelly and the PB&J that was some of the other more interesting Marvel characters like Wolverine and Cyclops and how it brought them together. We already talked about that. Emma Frost, on the other hand, she's just so much more interesting. There's more complexities to her, I feel. And God, maybe this is gonna sound shallow, but she's a lot hotter than me. Don't get me wrong. I dig redheads, but Emma Frost is just whew. God, she's like an 11 out of 10.
And plus, I mean, Jean Grey has just been fetishized in the narrative to the point where she can't be a character anymore. Like, there's no hope for her to ever be all they can do is, try to make young Jean a character now. And
Which they have. She has her own series now, Jean Grey #1, I think, released recently. Or is about to, one or the other.
Yeah.
Yuck, by the way, yuck. The young Jean Grey is a piece of shit. I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, they've written her. They're trying to differentiate all of the time warped X-Men different from their regular counterparts, and so I guess the only way to give Jean a personality is to make her like
an insufferable gash.
An insufferable gash. Yeah. Yeah. She's just kind of like a spoiled, dumb, idiot brat.
Hope was a way better character than this young Jean Grey.
Hope is gone. She doesn't exist anymore.
I know. What the fuck?
She's been lost into like editorial limbo.
Didn't she disappear after AVX or something? Doesn't matter.
She didn't officially disappear. She just hasn't been used at all. Same with Dakin. Ever since Secret Wars.
I thought Dakin died.
He died, but he came back. That was before Secret War. He was alive during Secret Wars, but he's just gone now.
Oh, god damn it. See, oh my god. See, that's another reason why I think Marvel's sales have dipped.
Layla Miller from House of M. Actually, I take that back. She had an arc. She was an X Factor for a long time.
I mean, if somebody happens to know that if there's been like a recent occurrence of any of these characters, please enlighten us. But I think that's also another big deal. Like, Marvel's been complaining that their sales have been down, and everyone's seen the articles. They're like, oh, it's a diversity thing or whatever, even though that's not perfectly what was said. But that's what a lot of people are pointing at. They're either pointing at,
it's just
you have the one half saying, well, it's not really the diversity. We're not trying to say our base for our comic readers is racist or whatever.
It's just chasing that casual dollar. They want the movie audience to start reading comics, so they're creating all these diverse, these transgendered, multi-fucking black Mexican characters,
And
which would be fine, but they're replacing the old ones, it seems like, to a lot of people, and people are longtime fans, hardcore comic book readers are just feeling alienated. So they're reaping what they sow.
Yeah, that is like a big issue. Like, if a lot of the older comic book fans are saying, well, we feel alienated by you taking away our favorite characters, Marvel or some of the other like more millennial readers are just like, well, it sounds like you're just a racist that you don't like, Black Iron Man or Muslim Miss Marvel or whatever the fuck ever. And I don't really think it's that at all. But it doesn't help that a lot of these new characters that have been coming out have been very Mary Sue.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like, especially the new Iron Man, the what's her face isn't
Riri.
Yeah, like maybe I'm remembering. Maybe I'm getting her confused with Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. In fact, I'm pretty sure that it was announced that Moon Girl is smarter than Tony Stark. Is what I heard.
That's stupid. Tony Stark is a boy.
But I'm technically millennial, aren't I?
Yeah, we are millennials. Yes,
okay,
that is our age group.
But I'm not sitting here and I'm reading these comic books and I'm like, they're fine, but I'm not really sucked into them. New Iron Man, like, I just couldn't get into. I really like Hulk, She-Hulk, and I actually really liked the Totally Awesome Hulk for like the first 6 issues. But then I fell out of it, and then Champion started back up, and I was like, "Oh man, I get to." And then I started reading that, and oh my god, you and I already know how much of a nightmare that is.
Champions might be like 90% of the problem here.
Yeah,
Champions is fucking dreck. It's the worst drivel I've ever read.
It's
like that book is doing nothing to endear these characters. If anything, it's doing by far the opposite.
I will say this: the new Nova's been really good, but. You actually read some of the new Nova. You said you could relate to the old Nova that new Nova brought in.
because Nova, I don't know. I was never a Nova fan. I don't know much about him, but he was a hero who died. Mm-hmm. And he comes back in this series. Yeah. And there was just this page or this panel in like the first issue where he comes back and he meets like all the new heroes and they're all like transgendered teenagers.
They're all children.
Yeah.
And he's like, are all the Avengers children? And he's just like, well, who's that? And they're like, that's Miss Marvel. Yeah. And he's like, isn't Miss Marvel dead? And they're like, no, that's Captain Marvel. Or something like that.
It was relatable. Marvel seems to have these like brief flashes of self-awareness.
Yeah.
Before like doubling down on the same shit that everyone hates, but...
Yeah, no, but in that moment, I was just like, man, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with legacy characters as long as they make sense and they're established. Jennifer Walters has been around forever. She can be the Hulk. I don't care.
The Hulk is a fucking great series, by the way.
I love All New Wolverine. I love Laura.
Yeah.
Because she's been around, she makes sense. She's her own character. She's not just
and she's been maturing as well. Like there's not like a change per se, like a drastic violent change or anything that would like jar the audience like it did when they killed Wolverine himself.
Yeah.
Laura has been maturing like quite a bit. And isn't the current run of Wolverine, she's in her X-Force outfit, right?
It's sort of like a new outfit that's X-Force-ish. It's black, but it's still a Wolverine costume.
Yeah, it feels like a throwback. But, I begrudgingly read All New Wolverine thinking that I wouldn't like it, because I never thought that X-23 herself was a really great standalone character. I always felt that she was better as, like, a support character, or, like, she bring her in with her story, but bring other people too. Like, I just never felt like she was strong enough by herself. But this All New Wolverine series, like, it's thanks to you that I really actually gave it a chance, by the way. And I begrudgingly, like with the Totally Awesome Hulk, enjoyed it. I have not enjoyed Totally Awesome Hulk though since the sixth issue.
Yeah, that's
and I guess it doesn't really matter anymore because there's Champions. So a lot of my customers are actually moved over from Totally Awesome Hulk to Champions.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh well, I get more characters for my book by this, and I'm just like, no. You don't understand. I can't tell them no, but at the same time, just like, man, if you say so, you do what you want.
So anyways, this is derailed quite a bit. Back to X-Men Gold and X-Men
this time
Blue.
it was my fault.
It was
this
your
time
fault.
it was my fault.
So yeah, X-Men relaunch. There's 2 new teams, X-Men Gold and X-Men Blue.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk about X-Men Gold first, because X-Men Gold it's a lineup that is designed to please fans. It's all the most popular X-Men, basically, that everyone loves. It's
like the
Nightcrawler, Colossus, Kitty Pryde is the leader, Storm, Rachel Grey,
and Old Man Logan.
Wolverine's dead, but they're using Old Man Logan as a substitute, which is fine.
The grumpy uncle.
I kind of have a problem with Old Man Logan specifically in the team books, because they write him just like regular Logan. In a lot of them. If you read the Old Man Logan ongoing, I mean, he's his own character. He has his own arc. But I feel like...
Which the Old Man Logan going on right now has been really good,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Let me get to that. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, but whenever he pops up in a team book, it just seems like they're just using him as the de facto Wolverine. And it seems a little bit out of character a lot of the time to me.
The new X-Men Gold, from what I remember, I honestly don't really remember much of it. I read it, but... It didn't feel like it didn't really hit home with me.
Exactly. It's definitely designed to appeal to X-Men fans. It's got all the fan favorite X-Men. They're doing, but I couldn't tell you what the hell happened in the 2 issues. I don't remember much.
The only thing I remember is Kitty getting on top of a building
that
was trying to collapse, and she phased it. And I was like, that's really cool, but that's all I remember.
Right.
Oh, that and all the fucking...
I mean,
all the people being like, oh, yeah, X-Men.
The first issue was mostly setting it up. The Xavier Mansion has been moved to Central Park in New York. Kitty's there. Kitty is the leader now, which is like a new job for her. She's grown up. She's matured into this role as leader. Colossus is there, and they have a sort of like
there's some tension there.
Tension there because of what happened in Avengers vs. X-Men years ago.
It doesn't help that currently, if for those of you unaware, Star-Lord is also stranded on Earth right now.
Right.
So on top of having to work with Colossus, she's also having to deal with Star-Lord.
Which
so
is
there's
interesting. Kitty Pryde is everyone. She's a very interesting. She's just good. There's nothing about Kitty Pryde that makes her a good character. But she's a good character. She's good
a girl
to
next
read.
door.
Exactly.
But with scary fucking powers.
I mean, of all the characters that have been introduced over the years to the X-Men to sort of serve as like an audience surrogate, Kitty was the one that took hold really well.
Yeah.
Like everyone grew up with her. Everyone likes her. So Kitty has always sort of fulfilled the role of like, hey, I like the X-Men, and here I am. That's It's easy for the audience to relate to Kitty Pryde, I guess.
She is kind of she's the everyman, but every lady, I guess.
Yeah.
But X-Men Blue is the one that I've been told.
Well, I'm not done yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I gotta. Don't interrupt me. This is my podcast. You're fired. Come back. You're hired. Yeah. So the thing that I wanted to touch on with X-Men Gold was this big controversy that you might have heard of, having to do with the artist who drew X-Men Gold. He is a gentleman of the Muslim persuasion, and he fucked up. He really so this guy, he basically drew a bunch of subliminal like Muslim propaganda into the comic, and like Marvel had to apologize. They made him apologize. It was really, like you see right here, they're playing baseball, and on Colossus's shirt he's got a Quran verse, like QS 557. And if you look up that verse, what it says is that, like, you know, thou shalt not be friends with the Jews or the Christians.
Oh.
So this guy,
Oh.
yeah. So this guy, like it's like the angry video game nerd should come out and be like, what was he fucking thinking? Like, he's got another verse here, 212. That's another thing. He fucking, on this sign he wrote like Jew next to Kitty Pryde's head.
Oh. That says jewelry.
It says jewelry, but I mean,
Right.
yeah, it says Jew. Like, it's right next to her head.
I wonder if that has any kind of effect on the comic's value, honestly, because I find that hilarious.
If they change that, it might. If they like go back and read, if they take that out, that could become like a collector's item in like a weird perverted way.
Oh, gross.
Yeah. So this artist, he just put a bunch of like weird radical Muslim propaganda in the comic, and it was a big controversy. If you want to know more about it, I suggest a video by Razorfist. He did a great video on the subject. He's a good boy. He's a good rant boy, a good opinionist boy. Yeah, so that was just a weird thing that happened. This is the battlefield on which we wage the war for the minds of our youth today. Is comic book propaganda.
You know, isn't Kitty Pryde Jewish?
Yeah, that's why it's fucked up that it says Jew next to her head, and then there's a Bible verse that says don't be friends with Jews.
Huh. Oh yeah, and then she's got all those people mad at her. And, yeah, that's ooh.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, Kitty Pryde is like a famous Jew. She's like the poster boy for Jews in comics.
See, it's funny you say that because I always think of Magneto when I think of like Jews.
Okay, that is a more intelligent thing than what I said. Yes, but
the poster boy as far as
she's the poster girl then. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was weird. Moving on to the other X-Men relaunch comic, X-Men Blue.
This is the one I did not read, so
Now,
this one's all on Jess.
I'm sure I've ranted about this 1,000 million times by now on this podcast, but the time displaced original 5 X-Men, Cyclops, Iceman, Angel, Beast, and Jean Grey, they're still fucking here. It's been like 3.5 years. They won't get rid of them. They're never getting rid of them. There's such a cancer on these fucking stories. I want them gone so bad, but they're not getting rid of them. Instead, they're giving them their own entire team of X-Men. X-Men Blue.
Now hold on. Let's I know you just said all those things, and spoiler alert, and if you don't want to hear this, you can cover your ears or something, but didn't you say that Magneto's building a time machine?
I did say that. I'll get to that.
Okay.
But yeah. So the story of the time displaced X-Men, I'm sure I've gone over this before. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, people, but
I could see the brain tumor like just growing
the
from this.
the fucking the principal Pim Pal fucking vein in my forehead.
Yeah.
Come on, somebody out there give me props for whipping out a Principal Pim Pal reference. So for those who don't know, Cyclops became more of an anti-hero. The Beast got really mad at him because Beast was a big old stick in the mud, and the Beast is, you know, it's part of his character. He's famous for not thinking things through. That's like his fatal flaw. He's a genius, but he's arrogant and he doesn't think things through. That's the whole, I mean, that's why he's blue. That's why he's a big furry beast man, because years ago he said, this potion will make my powers better, and he turned into a monster, because he's, you know, not...
The ultimate furry.
He's the ultimate furry. He's the ultimate fucking foolhardy genius, I guess. So the Beast is so mad at Cyclops for I guess, going rogue, that he gets this brilliant idea to go back in time, get the original 5 X-Men as teenagers, bring them back to the present to, I guess, like, show young Scott, don't become this. And it backfired completely. He couldn't get them back to their own time, so they were just stuck there. So now, you know, you have, you know, Cyclops and young Cyclops. You've got Beast and young Beast, Iceman, and, you know, you got all these young X-Men hanging out. And so for the longest time, this long, drawn-out fucking Bendis storyline that everyone hated. Nobody liked them. Everyone wanted it over with. Of them, what are we going to do with these characters? Are they here forever? Why can't they just go back to their own time? Nobody can get them back to their own time. So that was the sort of the crux of them. Like, when are we ever going to get back to our own time and stop this crazy future from happening? Because from their point of view, they're in like a crazy dystopian future, which is the interesting part of it, I guess. But in the very last issue of whatever the fuck the last one was it Extraordinary X-Men? Extraordinary X-Men, I guess.
Yeah, because the Uncanny X-Men was Psylocke and Magneto.
It was revealed that they finally did it. They figured out how to go back in time. But when they went back in time, lo and behold, the original 5 X-Men were still there. Which, I guess, it fixes the plot hole of why nothing has changed with them being there, because turns out they're not just in the future, they're in a different dimension. So that solves that plot hole, which I was happy with. They at least covered that. So I guess they're just accepting it now. They're stuck here in the present, the 05 X-Men. I guess they don't like the way things are. So they've started their own X-Men team. They fucked off to Madripoor. They have their own Blackbird somehow.
As happens with every fucking team ever.
Yeah.
Like the Avengers. How many times did the Avengers split up?
Yeah.
And made their own team?
Every superhero team in the world, there will eventually be like 5 young members who start their own. You adults don't get it anymore.
They start like their own Rugrats team.
Yeah. So X-Men Blue is the 05 X-Men. They're youngsters in a time that they're trapped in a world they did not have not made.
Yeah.
So they the first issue, they're on a boat. They fight Black Tom Cassidy and Juggernaut, which I don't like the
Juggernaut thing doesn't make any sense.
The Juggernaut, he had like a long arc of redemption and like sort of becoming more of a good guy, or at least an anti-hero. And they just have him here as a villain with like very little explanation.
I'm bored.
Like, I guess, there was a line where like, you killed Xavier and he was my brother, even though he fucking hated Xavier.
Is that it?
Yeah, he blames young Cyclops for old Cyclops killing Xavier.
Oh my god. Sorry, it's
even
dumb.
though he hated Xavier.
It's
but
dumb.
X-Men. So at the end of issue 1, it's revealed that, oh my god, the blue X-Men team, the 05 X-Men, they're working for Magneto. Oh my goodness. Yeah,
that's what I think. Sorry.
So Magneto, he's not a bad guy. He hasn't been a bad guy since the 80s, really. Unless you're counting Grant Morrison having him turn New York into a furnace, but that was retconned.
Or him touching Rogue's goodies.
That makes him a bad guy in my eyes. That makes everyone involved is a bad guy in my eyes. He's a bad guy, Rogue's a bad guy, the writers are a bad guy, Marvel Editorial's a bad guy
Gambit's
for
the
doing
only
that.
good boy.
Yeah. There was a thing in the 2000s where Grant Morrison really wanted Magneto to be the ultimate bad guy again, and he really wanted to tell the ultimate Magneto story, and it was a great story. I love Grant Morrison's new X-Men, and it culminated with basically Magneto losing his mind, going full Nazi, and like exterminating like thousands of humans in like gas chambers, just becoming everything that he always feared he would become. He's becoming a total monster, and at the end, Wolverine killed him. So they eventually retconned that because I guess someone at Marvel thought, okay, this happens a lot with Grant Morrison because he's got these big ideas and he's very respected. A lot of writers, they have to sort of fall in line with what editorial says they want the direction to go in. It seems like because Grant Morrison is so respected, they let him do whatever the fuck he wants. And then after he's gone, they immediately get to work retconning and changing everything he did.
Oh my god! They get the fire extinguishers.
Yeah, it's sort of like it seems like there's attitude of just let Morrison have his fun. We'll fucking retcon it all later. Let him do whatever he wants. And he said that too. He's said that's the nature of comics. Everything goes back to the status quo. So I just try to have my fun. That's his philosophy. So.
Hey, must be good to be Grant Morrison.
Yeah, so that was retcon. The Magneto that killed all those people and became a bad guy again, that was not Magneto. It was retconned away. It was Zorn. It was a whole different fucking
thing. It never
thing.
happened. Forget we even talked about it.
It never happened. It was this whole tangent was pointless. So basically, Magneto has not been a bad guy since the 80s. He's an anti-hero bordering on hero.
Yeah.
He
was a part of the Uncanny X-Men. He was the leader of the Uncanny
Not even
X-Men.
an anti-hero, so much as a hero with anger issues.
Yeah.
So
To be fair, he's got a lot to be mad about.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he just found out his children aren't his children anymore.
I love Magneto. He's a great character. That was a bad thing that they did. The children thing. The Quicksilver.
Yeah, go on.
I mean, do you want to go on that tangent?
No! Finish.
What was I saying?
Fuck.
All right. So Magneto hasn't been a bad guy in a long time, but to the original X-Men, because they were from they come from the 60s, to them Magneto was their arch nemesis still. They just got done fighting Magneto in the past when he was, the leader of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. So to him, he's a bad guy. So it's interesting that they would, I guess, team up with him here in the future, because it shows that they're accepting that this is a different time. Times have changed. People have changed. So that's an interesting dynamic of the 05 X-Men working with Magneto to further Xavier's dream in their own sort of roguish way. So that was cool. And then issue 2 happened, and issue 2 sort of goes into the backstory of why they teamed up with Magneto. Basically, Magneto is like, hey, Jean, I'm a good guy now. And she's like, I don't believe you. And he's like, read my mind. And she's like, okay, yeah, he's a good guy now. So that's... I just didn't really need a whole issue of explanation.
No.
But, yeah, so that's what happened. So, and then at the end of issue 2, it's revealed that secretly Magneto is building a time machine or a dimension machine or whatever to get them the fuck out of here. So thank fucking God for that. Please, let it amount to something this time. Please, let this arc finally play out. Get these kids out of my fucking continuity.
It's not a time machine, it's a toilet.
It's a toilet. He's gonna flush them out of here once and for all. So, X-Men Gold, X-Men Blue. Neither of them totally blew me away, but they were certainly interesting. They were certainly competent. If you're not offended by Muslim propaganda, I guess, they certainly serve their function as like starter points. They're as issue number 1s. If you want to get into the X-Men, this is the place to start. X-Men Gold and X-Men Blue. You want to talk about some movie trailers?
Yeah.
So. I've been getting requests to talk about stuff on the panel cast because it's been gone for a while. I just got a comment recently, since Guardians 2 is out, please talk about it. Bad news, it's only out in the UK, man. It's not out here yet.
Yeah.
So we still haven't seen it. Why? Why did it come out in the UK first? It's so
I don't
weird.
know. A friend of mine who lives out in the UK, messaged me directly. He was just like, the fucking Guardians is fantastic.
And you're leaving in 2 days.
Yeah.
Which, real bummer, man. If there's one person I'd want to see Guardians 2 with, it's you.
I know. But at least we got to see Doctor Strange
We
together.
did see Doctor Strange. It was a good movie.
And you know what? There's so many fucking movies coming out this year. And, within a year span, we still have... Wonder Woman coming out, which I'm going to give that a chance. I really am. I did not care for BVS at all. Batman vs. Superman.
Oh, right. Yeah, you and the rest of the world didn't care for it. Unless you're Poder Gargak, he will he will fight you. He loves that movie.
There's a new Spider-Man movie coming out. I don't care about the Spider-Man movies as much as I think you do. You seem to have a lot more passion in them, especially considering our previous conversations about Spider-Man 2.
I care
and its glorious perfections.
Well, I care about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
As far as the movies go, I love the Sam Raimi trilogy. Even the third one I like. It has its problems, but I just love that trilogy. I think Spider-Man 2 is a perfect movie. Spider-Man 1 even is a perfect movie. I fucking hated the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I hated the first one. I didn't even watch the second one.
Oh, see, that's a shame. I enjoyed the Amazing Spider-Man movies, but I only watched them once and they were in theaters.
I hated fucking Andrew Garfield, his dopey, his pretty boy fucking Twilight face. He
Ew. You think that?
He's just a pretty boy.
You think he's pretty?
Come on, women love Andrew Garfield.
Okay, I don't know. I'm not into that. But,
look, man.
But I also, you have to remember, I also don't think that the guy who played Doctor Strange is attractive. There's a lot of people who are like, no, he's so hot. Sherlock Holmes is hot. And I'm like, he looks like a foot.
Yeah, well,
I don't know. I don't share the same sentiments. With
Doctor Strange, it doesn't really matter if he's attractive or not. That's not his. But Peter Parker should not be like a teen heartthrob. He should be a nerd, right?
I thought he was.
Tobey Maguire is a goofy-looking, nerdy fucking guy.
Yeah.
He was ripped in the movies, but
Well, the new guy they got for Spider-Man looks pretty doofy.
And so, the new Spider-Man movie, Homecoming, that's coming out. Everyone's kind of excited for it. I'm
indifferent.
Yeah, I'm indifferent. I am. What it is that I don't care about seeing him in high school anymore.
Yeah.
I'm done with that shit. I don't want to see another fucking young
This would be
Peter
like
Parker.
movie number 5.
Yeah.
Movie number 5, yeah.
I mean, it goes back to the fucking... Every time I talk about Spider-Man, everything that you can possibly say about Spider-Man leads back to this, but it goes back to one more day. You know, people don't think that you can relate to, like, a 20-something Parker or, like, a 30-year-old Parker. I'm almost 30. I can relate to a 30-year-old Peter... Please! Let Peter Parker be 30. Let Spider-Man be my age again. I'm so sick of watching, like, high school shit. Nothing in high school matters. Even if you're a superhero, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I hate teenagers. They're not even people. They're not even real people. When you're a fucking teenager, you've only been making like decisions as like an autonomous, as like a sentient human being for like 1 year. You're not a real person. You have no experience. I don't want to read about teenagers. I don't want to watch teenagers. I don't want fucking Spider-Man to be a teenager. I get it. You know, he got his powers as a teenager. That's a huge part of his origins. It's a huge part of his history. But god damn it, that was in the fucking 60s. I've seen it 1,000 times. I saw fucking Tobey Maguire in high school. I saw fucking Andrew Garfield in high school. Can you just put him in fucking college, at least. Just make him an adult. I'm so sick of young, fucking whiny baby, fucking baby cheeks, fucking, I'm a tough tootin' baby, I can dance like a man, fucking no hair on his nutsack, fucking baby Parker. I'm sick of it.
You put it into better words than I would have.
I just can't do it. I can't watch any more fucking high school movies.
I know what you mean.
But I mean,
The only high school movie I like to watch is Mean Girls.
I'm sure the movie will be good because, I mean, the Marvel Studio movies are generally good. Even the bad ones are, like, watchable.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Ant-Man was fine.
Yeah, I liked Ant-Man.
I was not on the same bandwagon, I feel. I went and saw it in theaters, and I sat there, and I was just like, Paul Rudd's not very Paul Ruddy.
Did you say theaters? Is that how you say theaters?
Shut up!
That's really cute. Interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater.
Oh my god. But yeah, no, you're right. Even like with the exception of like Thor: The Dark World or whatever.
Yeah.
Which
Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah. Even that one, like, it wasn't necessarily a bad movie. It was just forgettable.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Thor, everyone's kind of blown away about this one, the Thor Ragnarok trailer.
I am excited.
It looks good.
I am excited.
It looks like...
Okay, so first of all, I like the Thor movies. I may not have liked Dark World, but I liked the first one, and I like Thor as a character.
I love Thor, yeah.
But to be fair, I did not really super get into Thor until I talked to Jess more about it. Because I didn't really know that much about Thor outside of the movies. Because I don't know, I never paid attention to him. It seemed kind of boring to me. Yeah. Oh, he's a god. What can stop him?
I think a lot of people write Thor off without reading his stuff.
But you told me about Godstorm.
Godstorm, yes.
And, you know...
Did you read it?
I loved it.
Oh my god, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's in your closet. I'll read it again. Yeah, no, you told me if there was any Thor books that I should read, it should be Godstorm, and for that I thank you. And I think anybody else who has not read any kind of Thor books, I know currently the Thor run that's going on right now, there's actually 2 Thor runs. I believe the other Thor finished already. But there's the Mighty Thor with Lady Thor, and then there's the Unworthy Thor, which finally touched upon why Thor was unworthy. Did you ever read that? Did you finish it?
Wait, what?
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I was Googling Godstorm, yeah.
Well, I'm just talking about the 2 Thor movie, or 2 Thor comic series. The one that just ended and the one that's still going on.
Like, you recommended me Godstorm. I'm so glad you recommended it. And I'm thinking, like, wait, what happened in Godstorm? What is that?
Yeah, did you finish Unworthy Thor?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I mean, it was what I thought it would be. I mean,
Yeah, you called it.
Yeah, I called it. So basically, Thor... This was an event a while ago, but Thor... He is no longer worthy of holding Mjolnir. Only the worthy can hold it. It's, you know, kind of... It's always been kind of vague what exactly that means, but I mean, whatever. So he lost his hammer, Jane Foster picked it up, and that's where we get fucking Femme Thor, which everyone hates. But,
What? No.
I hate her.
You hate her.
It's so fucking ham-fisted and, like, with the SJW propaganda.
I have a ton of people that read the Mighty Thor, but...
I mean, it might have gotten better, but, like, when it started, it was just, like, you know... She's like chastising her enemies for mansplaining to her in like the middle of a battle. She's like,
Which should give away the whole fucking modernized lady.
This weird feminist shit of like, haha, girls rule and boys drool. Get used to it. Like, what are we in fucking kindergarten?
Well, you've seen those images of like the comic characters wearing a T-shirt that says "Ask me about my feminist agenda."
Yeah.
There was some weird backlash on that one.
Well, I mean, that's Marvel for you. They have no self-awareness.
Was it Marvel or was it DC?
It was Marvel.
Was it Marvel?
It was Mockingbird.
Mockingbird. Shit, that's right.
Yeah.
That series ended too.
Because Marvel, they understand that people are angry. They don't quite get why, and they have just enough self-awareness to double down on it and make it worse every time.
They're like, let's just make sure this is right, and they poke the bear even harder.
Yeah.
With a fucking scimitar. Anyway, so if you've never read a Thor comic book before, there's some current ones going on, and I wouldn't actually recommend those first if you want to know the Thor that's in the movies. Get to read Godstorm,
or read fucking God Bomb.
God Bomb. That was the other. I didn't get.
That was the one you were thinking of.
No, I haven't read God Bomb. But you recommended Godstorm to me too.
It's weird that I'm complaining about FemThor. Everyone has complained about FemThor. I think rightly so. It's pretty ham-fisted, but FemThor is written by Jason Aaron, which is weird because he's been writing Thor for a long time.
Maybe it was God Bomb.
Was it God Bomb?
Yeah, I mean, cover years again. If this is a spoiler, if you don't want to hear this, but this is one where he died, right? Briefly.
What?
Thor dies briefly in it.
I don't fucking remember, man.
God damn it. Well, you know what? I specifically remember okay, you know what? Fuck it. Fine, read both. Read both Godstorm and God Bomb.
This is such a clusterfuck of a podcast.
God damn it.
None of us know what we're talking about.
Okay, give us some goddamn credit. We read like a million goddamn things like all the time. I get my shit mixed up sometimes.
Well, I mean, I can tell you about a lot of different Thor stories that I really loved. For some reason with Thor, I can never remember the titles of them.
Well, they're kind of...
Because they're all like fucking Niflstorm and fucking God Machine and shit like that. No one...
Yeah, that's fair. God Bomb and Godstorm. Yeah, that I could see why I would mix those two up. Read them both.
Yeah, it's weird that I have to complain about FemThor because Jason Aaron, who writes it, he's one of my favorite writers. I loved his Wolverine. I loved his Wolverine and the X-Men. I loved his Thor. He's been writing Thor forever. He wrote Unworthy Thor 2. He's what the fuck are you? Oh my god.
I'm talking and it's making me sweaty.
I'm talking about Thor here. I look over and she grabs this speed stick, unzips her hoodie, and just starts slathering it under her arms.
I'm not slathering it.
It's not, and while she's doing it, she's making this face, this grotesque, like the dead people in The Ring. This fucking face. I gotta get this stank off.
Yeah. I'm sweaty. And that just made me sweatier. You're embarrassing me.
I'm sorry.
Now, I can't speed stick my back.
But, FemThor notwithstanding, I like Jason Aaron's writing. I like his Thor. He's the one who wrote the God Bomb arc years ago, where there's this guy called the God Butcher, Gore. He's this alien from this planet where like his whole family died in like a drought or something. He prayed to the gods didn't answer, so he has this grudge against gods. He sets out to kill every god. And his whole philosophy is that gods are just holding mortals back. We don't need them. They all need to die for the good of the universe, right? So
that was the one I read.
Yeah, so it's this huge, big arc of Thor fighting this guy called the God Butcher. And I mean, in the end, Thor prevails, of course, and it's a really great story. It's one of my favorites. It says a lot about how great Thor is as a character. If you want to know like why Thor is cool, that's the one that I would suggest reading. But that was Jason Aaron. That was 5 years ago, and he's still writing Thor. It seems like this has been all part of his sort of grand narrative from the beginning. So the Unworthy Thor has tied back into that, whereas we finally learn the Whisper. Thor was fighting. Nick Fury had like Watcher power, so he like had all this knowledge of everything of like the multiverse. He was fighting the heroes. He whispers something in Thor's ear, and we don't find out what he whispered for years. And this knowledge that Fury gives him, this whisper, makes Thor drop the hammer, and he can no longer wield it. This new knowledge has made Thor unworthy, and so it's been the arc for about a year and a half now of what the hell did Fury whisper? And Marvel has a history of like dropping the ball with this kind of stuff, so
Right.
nobody really had much hope that it would be cool, but they finally revealed it, and it was about as satisfying as it could be. I mean,
okay.
I called it. So what Fury whispered to Thor that made him unworthy of his own hammer was, Gore was right. Mankind does not need gods. Gods are just holding mortals back. No god is worthy. And that is the knowledge, and, you know, debatable if it's true because Thor is a superhero, but the point is, I think that Thor believes it. Mm-hmm. And that made him not able to lift the hammer anymore.
Right.
And so now the hammer is in the hands of a mortal, Jane Foster.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting. How do we get on this topic?
We were talking about the Thor trailer.
How do we get back to that from this? Anyways, everyone read Thor, the Jason Aaron Thor, the God Bomb, all of it. I don't know. Fucking look it up. Whatever.
Yeah. But we were talking about the new. We were talking about all the movies, and you know, even the bad Marvel movies aren't bad.
Right. Right.
And Thor was one of those topics.
Right.
So, but the new trailer released, and great timing because you know it's releasing around the same time as like Guardians of the Galaxy is releasing in theaters, where the trailer is releasing around the same time. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, I am really fucking excited for this new Thor movie.
It looks like a barrel of laughs. Looks like a lot of fun. And that's what the Thor series always should have been. The Thor series, I don't think, never should have taken itself as seriously as it did. It always... Because he's Thor. He drinks fucking grog. He drinks barrels of grog and he fucks millions of women. He's been around for 1,000 years just fucking women. He's you know, he's a hot-headed. He's just a big burly. He doesn't give a fuck. He's a guy with a hammer, you know? You don't take a character like Thor and you gotta make it fun and goofy.
Yeah, the first Thor movie was fun and goofy.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
And, you know, the first Thor movie was okay. It was good. I liked it. Mm-hmm. I haven't felt the desire to go back and watch it, but it was okay.
I would.
Thor: The Dark World, no one fucking remembers at all. It's just nothing. It was so... Probably the worst Marvel movie.
Yeah.
I would say Thor: The Dark World, because...
At least I remember
cares?
Ant-Man.
Yeah, so it just seems like the Thor movies... There's just something intangible that they have been missing. Mm-hmm. And this trailer, I think they found it. They found what the Thor movies have needed, which is just an entirely different tone, very in line with Guardians of the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. Just this, a more fucking, a carefree fucking, that kind of shit. Yeah. I mean, it's even got like the 80s retro font for the title screen. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can tell that they know what you can tell what they're doing, and they know what they're doing, and everyone's okay with it, because it's, you know, it's cool. This is what Thor always should have been. And he's got this haircut in the trailer. He looks like 90s Thor now, with like this goofy fucking crew cut. You know, he's fighting the Hulk in it. That's going to be a lot of fun. You know, the Hulk is another character who his solo movies, I loved the 2003 Hulk movie.
Oh, no.
Everyone hates it. I like it. It's not canon with the new Marvel movies, but, you know, it was before that time. But the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton, I thought was a fine movie. Haven't watched it since, but...
It was dignified.
Yeah, but Hulk's another one where it just seems like his movies have been lacking something, which is a shame because the Hulk is such a great character that everyone in the world can relate to.
I agree.
He's got that thing I always talk about where like the core of the character is something that everyone understands. There's just a different side of you. You can't control it. Maybe you have a temper. Maybe there's something about you don't like. You know, everyone is the Hulk. And that's why everyone likes the Hulk. Everyone wants the Hulk to have a good movie, a great movie. It just hasn't happened yet. Same with Thor. You know, these are not...
So maybe the two of them together will make something...
I mean, these are not impossible characters to relate to. These are characters that, if you write them well, if you put them in the right setting, the right tone, the right story, anyone can relate to these characters. They just gotta find it. They gotta find the thing, and maybe by putting them together in one kind of like a bromance, buddy, fucking fuck around in outer space, happy, fun, fucking 80s movie, it'll be good.
Yeah. I think I saw some people were hoping that this will tie in somehow with the Guardians of the Galaxy itself, and maybe bring everything in for the Infinity War that's supposed to be coming up, I think, in 2018.
Right, yeah, 2018?
Maybe.
What's coming out this year? Fucking Wonder Woman is all I know.
Well, that's DC.
Wonder Woman isn't Justice League coming out this year?
Spider-Man. I think Justice League is either late this year or next year. But
Homecoming is this year, yeah.
Yeah, but Thor, I thought, also releases at the end of this year.
Thor, yeah, I think Thor will be this year.
I think so.
Yeah. And Guardians next week, but
yeah. And then I think they're supposed to be touching on the Infinity War. I thought.
That's what they've been building up to. Every movie that you see now, everyone's got a gem.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited for that, and I'm really excited for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
As far as like top favorite films go, you and I already talked about this too, but Guardians is up there for me.
Yeah, it's up there. I think it's up there for everyone.
I hope so.
I don't think anyone doesn't love Guardians of the Galaxy.
There's one person I know that's kind of all over it, but he poo-poops all over it. He hated Old Man Logan.
Get out. Well, that's impossible. Old Man Logan's a masterpiece.
Yeah, he hated Logan. I'm sorry,
man.
the movie Logan. Like
I read this article that they're re-releasing Old Man Logan to select theaters in black and white.
Yes.
I want to fucking see that, man.
I want to see that.
Oh, you're gonna be gone. I'm not gonna.
When does it release?
I think like a couple weeks from now.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe.
But that sounds cool.
You know what? If they release it on DVD and they do the black and white thing, we'll watch it.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, very excited for these two movies. Baby Groot. God damn it. I'm so sick of the Baby Groot fucking fad right now.
The Baby Groot fad.
It's been a nightmare ever since Guardians ended with Baby Groot in the pot.
Yeah.
Everybody, every goddamn day, I got a phone call about wanting the fucking Baby Groot pot figure, and it's just like, just fuck off, fuck off. I hate it. And they're like, do you have any Baby Groot Piggy banks? Do you have the dancing Baby Groot? Just die. I need this fad to die. I hate it.
I want a Baby Groot pop vinyl.
But you can fucking get one. I don't give a shit. Just don't.
Not because I love Groot though, just because I love the fucking pop vinyls. I've got 1,000 of them.
I know. I know.
I'm the only person in the world who likes them.
That's not true.
People treat them like they're this cancer, like they're this scourge on the world.
Okay, first of all, that is not true. Okay, it's. I treat it like it's a scourge.
You, Digibro, everyone hates them. I'm coming out in support of the pop vinyls. They're cool. They're cool, damn it.
Some of them are cooler than others, but a lot of them.
My Doctor Who pop vinyl. He fell off my fucking table. He broke his sunglasses. Now it's a Scouter because half of it is fucking his sunglasses are broken. I couldn't find it to even glue it back on. I'm fucking depressed about it. I gotta buy a new one. He was my favorite guy. He had a guitar. It was.
There. Anyway, if I have one thing to bitch about for Guardians of the Galaxy, it's just that I'm fucking sick of the Baby Groot thing. Please, no more Baby Groot.
Just a second.
What are you doing?
I'm looking up this comment so that I can read it on the, read it. What video was it even on?
What are you talking about?
A guy read a comment. He asked us to talk about something, and I know what he said, but I want to read the comment. I don't want to misword him. I'm gonna find the comment, okay? This is a professional podcast right here. Let's see here.
Didn't you put your notes? I thought you had notes.
No, I have the notes. I know what he asked me, but I just want to get his words right. I don't want to misquote anybody. Okay, so the point is, no, I'm gonna find the comment. I'm not gonna fucking be a bad. I'm gonna be a good. I know, no, you know what it is that I shit on commenters all the time. I constantly run my mouth about bad commenters. I would be a huge fucking hypocrite if I didn't give credit where it's due to a good commenter once in a while. This guy, he put in the effort to make a comment that wasn't terrible, and god damn it, I'm gonna find him, I'm gonna give him credit, I'm gonna say his name, and I'm gonna read his comment verbatim, because it's the right thing to do. I'm not gonna let this go. What are you doing? No! Don't fart. Don't show me your butt. I'll beat you up. I'm gonna fucking beat you with... I'm gonna throw this... Okay, what? I'm gonna find it. Okay, I found it. Come sit down. Come back. I found the comment.
Welcome back, everybody.
So Nicholas Liz Lima says, "Hey, Jess. Since Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 released and blah, 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 blah. We already talked about that. It didn't release yet. We can't see it yet. Bring back Panelcast. I finally find the comment. I'm just like skimming over it. I'm not even reading it.
Scum.
Anyways, also, bring back Panelcast and talk about, please, The Flash number 21. And that would be a good way for you to talk about The Watchmen. To segue into that. So,
oh boy, I can't wait. Oh, look at this person. They're like, I missed the Panelcast so much. Well, thank you.
SOK Love said that. I SOK
you.
love you too, I guess. Never forget, I love you.
Okay, so, okay. Now we're gonna, after we shat all over Marvel, but also fluffed it up, we're gonna get into DC a little bit now.
Let's fluff up some DC. DC's been good. DC's been
okay.
Firing on all cylinders.
You know what, man? Ever since I was dubious. Okay, so when they first, all right. If you didn't know, I actually got to go to a meeting with the DC company at this big fucking fancy hotel thing. And they got to they did this whole huge display. They gave us free food and everything, and like free stuff to take, and they hyped up Young Animal and Rebirth and explained everything, but also in the process basically came up to the podium and were just like, we are so sorry about Convergence.
Yeah.
Like, that was a nightmare.
So
and I was dubious at first, but Rebirth has been really fucking good. Damn it.
I've a few times praised the shit out of Rebirth. It started great, and it's been consistently great for a whole year now. And
yeah, what the hell? That never happens.
Yeah, all the books have been great. Fucking Tom King's Batman has been fantastic.
On and off,
fantastic. I mean, yeah, okay. The Assault on Santa Prisca arc, where I hated it, but I mean, whatever.
Yeah,
We're getting off track. Yeah.
Yeah, but Rebirth has been really good, and finally, so. A year ago, more than a year now, because we're up to number, well, it doesn't matter. We're up, more than a year ago, they released a Rebirth special, and I think, if I remember correctly, that special had something to do, like, at the end of the comic, it shows Batman holding the Watchmen button. Was it at the end of the Rebirth special?
They are, after fucking 25, 30 years, it finally happened. I think everyone deep in their hearts knew that someday this would happen.
Yeah, but
it finally did.
Yeah, well, you know what? When they showed the Rebirth button, not Rebirth button, the Watchmen button in Rebirth, like, everybody was shitting their pants over it, and they're just like, I can't wait. Well, they held us by our nuts for like a year.
Yeah, they tease the fact they are integrating the Watchmen universe into the DC universe. And they held our nuts to the flame for a year, but
they even blue-balled us at one point with the Superman story,
they did.
with the sun and everything.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Fuck.
But finally, we get into the Watchmen storyline.
Yeah, I mean,
with Flash number 21 and Batman number 21.
Wait. I have to say all the things. I have to go all the way back.
Oh no. Strap yourselves in.
I mean, it's just been really great that they gave this whole thing time to breathe. They gave it a whole year. They didn't rush into this big mega event. Mm-hmm. They've had every book going its own storylines. They've given us a chance to really get rid of. They've trickled it ever so gracefully. Now and then in the pages of like a Superman, like Mr. Mxyzptlk will say something like, this place used to be different, blah, 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 blue. Or, in a Wonder Woman, it'll be like, you know what? I don't think the Mascara was always like this. What's going on here? They've really been careful and good with how they've trickled this slow burn of an arc. And first of all, before I talk about this Flash 21, if anyone out there has never read the book or seen the movie Flashpoint, go see it.
That's
because all of
that's my go-to.
All of this has come out of a storyline that was maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Yeah, Jeff Johns.
Called Flashpoint, where the Flash, he tries to stop his mother's murder from when he was a child. He goes back in time, change history, because he goes back in time and change history. He fucks up the whole timeline by accident. It's like this crazy future where Bruce Wayne died as a kid and his dad, Thomas Wayne, is Batman, and it's crazy. And at the end of it,
and Wonder Woman and Aquaman created World War III basically, and have eradicated 2/3 of the Earth.
So the Flash basically accidentally ruins everything. At the end of it, the Thomas Wayne, who is the Batman in this universe, he finds out that his son is Batman in the real universe. So he gives the Flash a letter to Bruce to give to Bruce when he goes back to the real universe. It's a very emotional moment. It's a classic moment. Watch the movie. because it's a great movie and all of this stems from it, basically. I mean,
Yeah.
after all these years, it's coming full circle.
I much prefer. I always like to recommend the comics more, but that's not to say that the animated movie isn't great. It cuts out a lot of like the stuff that I feel is not necessary, but at the same time, it cut out a bunch of stuff that I really wish that they had touched upon, or at least made like short animated, like little animated shorts
Yeah.
about. I mean, Catwoman got an animated short. Why couldn't Thomas Wayne get the animated short that he fucking deserved?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that was the best fucking story in Flashpoint.
So in addition to the thing about the letter, which is a great moment, the fallout of Flashpoint, the fallout of Flashpoint was the New 52.
Yeah.
And it was this company-wide relaunch where DC reset their entire continuity to say that, everything happened 5 years ago. It caused a lot of problems. It caused a lot of, plot holes. For example, to say that, Batman has only been Batman for 5 years. How the fuck did Damian get here then?
Yeah.
Damian is 13 years old.
Yeah.
He was conceived when Batman, as Batman, fucked Talia in the desert. So it created a lot of plot holes like that. It got rid of characters. It got rid of Wally West. He just doesn't... Wally West, a beloved character who everyone fucking... A great character. A better character than Barry Allen, to be honest, because Barry Allen... his whole thing is he just became a forensics guy because his mother was killed. He got struck by lightning next to a bunch of potions and became the Flash. As far as origins go, it's not the most heavy. It's not the most, relatable. The guy got struck by lightning,
Yeah. The Flash, I feel in general, is one of those characters where you either love him or you just don't care.
The strength of Barry Allen as a character stems 100% from Crisis on Infinite Earths, which was the first huge crossover event in the 80s where a bunch of crazy shit happens. Bottom line is, at the end of it, Barry Allen sacrifices his life. He loses himself to the Speed Force. He dissipates into the fucking ether, and he just dies in order to save the entire multiverse. He saves everything ever that has ever existed or ever will. He becomes essentially the greatest hero of the DC universe. They brought him back eventually. I don't think they should have. I think Barry Allen is better as a legend to aspire to, a legend for Wally to aspire to, because then you get the evolution of Kid Flash, Wally West, into the de facto Flash. And that was the Flash that we all grew up with. That was the Flash on the Justice League cartoons. It was always Wally West. And, Barry Allen's origin story, his driving force as a character, it is what it is. His mother was killed, so he became a forensic scientist, and then he got struck by lightning in the Flash. The idea of Wally West is that, yeah, he also got struck by lightning and became the Flash. But with Wally West, you have this whole other part of this character where he is the protege of what is in the DC universe considered the greatest hero of all of them, the guy who saved everything. He has all that to live up to, and he lives up to it, and he becomes a great hero in his own right. This huge long story arc for decades of Wally West coming into his own as the Flash, and in a lot of people's minds, including mine, he is the Flash. They brought back Barry Allen eventually, and so then there was two Flashes. You really, come on, let Barry Allen stay dead. Let Wally be the Flash. But when they did the New 52, when they did this whole, company-wide relaunch, they got rid of a bunch of stuff. They dropped a whole bunch of continuity. They dropped characters, entire characters. Wally West did not exist anymore. Gone. Everything's different. Everyone hated the New 52. People complained about it for 5 years. Nobody liked it. Everything was wrong. They ruined Starfire. They ruined everything.
To be fair, I liked some of the stuff that came out with it. I really enjoyed Swamp Thing's New 52 when it first released. Then they changed the writers and things got weird. Aquaman was really fucking fantastic when it came out. The Jeff Johns Aquaman. Animal Man, still to this day, is one of my favorite fucking DC titles for the New 52. Yeah. It's not all terrible. Yeah. And in fact, Green Lantern's New 52 was really, really good too.
Yeah, there was obviously good in it. There were good stories.
But I know what you mean.
A lot of Scott Snyder's Batman was pretty good. It was okay. I mean, some of it I didn't like, but whatever. Yeah, there was good to be had in it, but just wiping out all of this storied history, wiping out entire characters from the continuity, from the mythos. DC fans, everyone felt so alienated by the New 52. Mm-hmm. Everyone hated it. And about a year and a half ago now, DC they released this book, this 80-page comic called Rebirth. Mm-hmm. And the book is basically, we're sorry. It's DC's apology. It's saying, you know what? Okay, let's bring back everything we took away. Let's fold it in slowly, not all at once, but we're folding it in slowly. The book is that Barry Allen, he's thinking, something's wrong here. Something is messed up. He's getting like a hunch. He can hear voices, right? He's hearing like the voice of like someone that he doesn't quite remember. And he, it's a big book, and the book is very meta with how Jeff Johns wrote it. The book is talking about how, Barry is talking about, it feels like something was taken from us. Something is wrong in the world. Everything seems sadder, darker, grayer, and I don't remember what it is. And it's very meta because his narration is what the fans are feeling. Something was taken from us.
Yeah.
And so it was very well received. Everyone loved it because it was an apology. It was like an actual, like a corporation humbling themselves to the fans and saying, we're sorry, you were right. Let's fix this. Let's do it. Give us a chance to fix this. So at the end of the book, Barry is hearing these voices, this voice of someone that doesn't quite remember. And finally, he reaches out into the Speed Force and he remembers. And like across the ether of universe, of universes that don't even exist anymore, he grabs onto the hand of Wally West, who was gone, who doesn't even exist anymore. He finds Wally West, our Flash that we grew up with. He pulls him out of the Speed Force. Wally West is back. And everyone knows, I mean, they know. It's not known to all the characters yet, but they know, hey, somebody is trying to fuck us. Somebody has erased like 10 years of our history. Why is Damian Wayne 13 years old? It doesn't make any sense. They're piecing together all these plot holes that we've been complaining about for years. The characters are realizing something is wrong. So not only does that happen, but as well as Wally West coming back, something else comes back with him. Batman finds it in the Batcave, stuck in a rock. This glimmering, this shiny. He goes, what the fuck is that? He goes over. He's going over in his Batcave. This is my Batcave. I know what's in my fucking Batcave. Giant penny, big Joker card, a fucking T-Rex. I know what's in my... What the fuck is that over there by that rock? He's going over. Batman's like, what is this? He pulls it out. It's the comedian's bloody pin from Watchmen. And you get to that part, and everyone in the world just lost their fucking shit. Oh my god, it's finally I knew they'd do this one day. Are they gonna fuck it up? Are they gonna do it good? Who can say? But it's finally happening. DC is finally, they're gonna do it. They're gonna fucking do something with the Watchmen, and they're gonna fold it into DC continuity. So Barry goes to Bruce, because Barry and Bruce are the detectives, and they go, what the fuck is this button? Let's figure this out. So that is put on the back burner for a year and a half. And during this year and a half, we're getting a lot of great stories. We're getting just back to basics, like superhero stories, and it's been good. Nightwing has been great. Batman has been great. Wonder Woman, Superman has been fantastic. Trinity was great. All these, it's all good again. And so now, after this slow trickle of info and lore is coming in, between the lines of all these great stories, a year and a half later, it's finally starting to culminate and come to a head where stuff is finally starting to happen, and it culminates in Batman number 21 right here. Where did I put it? There we go. I had a bunch of tabs open. Batman number 21. So the cover of Batman number 21, it tells you right off the bat what's gonna shit's finally happening. It's got Barry and Bruce. They're looking at this fucking pen. What is this fucking pen? What's going on? So the book just starts out. Batman he's in his cave. He's doing some, detective stuff. He's trying to figure it out. What is this pen? All of a sudden, fucking Reverse Flash shows up. Reverse Flash is like the Flash's arch nemesis. He's like he's just this complete deranged sociopath killer from the future. He assembled his own, he's this guy from the future. He read a bunch of stories about the Flash. He just decided, fuck the Flash. Fuck him. He sounds like a jerk. Fuck that guy. So he...
I wish I was a Reverse Flash.
So out of spite, for no reason, for this historical hero, he builds his own, Flash stuff. He makes himself the Reverse Flash. So now he's fast, too. So he runs back in time, kills the Flash's mother. He kills Barry Allen's mother. So that's the guy who did it. It's all his fault.
Yeah, this is a great big Flashpoint thing.
Yeah.
He was a big part of that.
So Reverse Flash is a walking paradox. He's the worst of the worst. He's a complete fucking psychopath. He's a monster.
But you wouldn't think that with a name like Reverse Flash. It's kind of lame, but whatever.
You'd think Reverse Flash.
They don't even call him that. They call him What's his name? Doctor.
His name is. He got a weird Eobald Thawne or.
It's Thawne. Thorn.
Whatever.
Not Thorn. fuck.
You got a dumb name. You just call him Reverse Flash. But yeah,
well-
you'd think that like a guy called Reverse Flash would just be like a really slow guy who's like not much of a threat to anyone. Oh, here comes my arch nemesis, Reverse Flash. He can't really do anything to me. He's just the speed of a regular man.
Or he can only run backwards.
He can run really fast, but only backwards. he can only reverse punch you, which is like a hug.
Oh my god.
So Reverse Flash shows up in the Batcave, and so Batman is on the phone with Barry Allen with the Flash. He's going, hey Barry, let's get over here. Let's get the ball rolling on this pin situation. Let's figure out what this whole fucking Watchmen shit is about. And Barry, he's fighting some bad guy. So Barry's like, yeah, I'm really fast, Bruce. I'm gonna fight these guys. I'll be there in 1 minute. So the whole comic takes place in 1 minute. It's like so as soon as he gets off the phone with Barry Allen, bam, Reverse Flash shows up. Reverse Flash, just because he's a fucking asshole, just starts kicking the crap out of Batman. He's beating him up and down. He's beating him all over the Batcave. He's just slapping him because he's so fast. He's too fast. Batman's a strong man. Batman's a good fighter. But Reverse Flash, he's fast. He's fast. So they're fighting. And Batman's he's on the ropes. He's getting beat up pretty bad. And so finally Reverse Flash, he's got the pin. He goes, yeah, fuck you. I'm gonna fuck off to the future, I guess, and do some bad. I'm gonna go back into the Speed Force. I'm gonna fuck up the world. Whatever. I'm an asshole. I'm the biggest asshole in the world. So Reverse Flash fucking zooms through time, and Batman is left there for like a second or two. Mm-hmm. Reverse Flash comes back, and Reverse Flash is fucked up. He's like half his skin is he's like half a skeleton. He's smoking. He's dead. He's got fucking blue lightning all over him. You know what that means? But he's fucking dead. And his words are, "I saw God." And then he drops dead in the Batcave.
Yeah.
And then Barry Allen shows up and he's like, "What the fuck happened?" So, he just comes around, Reverse Flash is there. He's fucking dead. He's half a skeleton. The pin is like shooting blue electricity everywhere. Batman is all beat to shit. So that's where that's where Batman number 21. There's so many fucking Batman books. I can't keep them straight. There's Detective Comics. There's there's Rebirth Batman. There's fucking another Batman, and they're all telling different stories at the same time. It's so hard to keep track. Too many Batmans. But anyways, so that's where Batman 21 leaves off. Mm-hmm. And this goes directly into Flash number 21. Flash number 21 is just Barry piecing together what the fuck happened in the Batcave. He's theorizing about what happened to Reverse Flash, where he went, what he saw exactly. He goes to see Bruce, who's now in bed. He's laid up. He's beaten up. He's covered in like bruises and cuts and stuff. He goes, "Bruce, I don't know what the fuck's going on." And I forgot to mention. At some point in Batman, Bruce saw the ghost of Thomas Wayne. And he saw a ghost. "Batman, I'm your father. I'm a ghost. Something's fucked up. Whatever." Yeah. So he goes to see Batman. And Batman's like, "Hey, right before Reverse Flash showed up, I saw the ghost of my father from the Flashpoint universe." And so he's like, "Oh wow, that's another layer to this mystery. What's going on?" So Flash books it to the JLA Watchtower. He goes into the room where all the artifacts and all the stuff is. He finds the fucking treadmill, which the way that Flash travels in time. He has this goofy Flash treadmill.
Yeah.
He runs on it fast and
it's on Flashpoint.
Yeah, it's in Flashpoint. So he finds the treadmill. He said, I swore I'd never use this again, but we got to solve this mystery somehow. So he's about to use a treadmill. Batman shows up. He's like, "Hey, you're not using that treadmill without me." So Flash is running on the treadmill, and Bruce is hanging off it with a grappling hook, flying through the Speed Force, through the timeline. They're looking at all these events that have happened in all these dimensions, like the JLA forming, and they're like, "This isn't how I remember it happening." And Barry's going, "You know what? I don't think these are other dimensions we're looking in. I think this is our world. I think we're remembering it wrong." So they're figuring it out. They're going through, And so finally, they zoom through the fucking Speed Force. They end up in the Flashpoint world again with Thomas Wayne as Batman. So the last panel of this comic, Bruce meets his father. He meets Flashpoint Batman in the flesh, Thomas Wayne, and he's like, "We're gonna team up. We're gonna solve this riddle. We're gonna solve this enigma, Bruce. Me and you, father." It's like, oh my god, it's happening. And so that's
Sanford and Son.
Sanford and Son, yes. So that's where it leaves off, and it's pretty cool so far, and it's gonna keep going, and we'll see how this turns out. It looks pretty exciting.
It is exciting. I'm pleased. Now this is coming from somebody though that is not on the Watchmen hype train. I think it'll be interesting because the Watchmen themselves are interesting. But I've never been a big fan of the graphic novel itself. There's a lot of things that I do enjoy about it, but I like the movie. All right, I know a lot of people shit on me for that.
Oh, right, that guy wanted us to segue to the Watchmen. Thank you for reminding me, because I was drawing a blank there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I will be shat on for saying that I like the movie more than I like the graphic novel.
If there's anyone out there in the world who doesn't know what Watchmen is, Watchmen is a groundbreaking, some would say the most groundbreaking graphic novel of all time. That's debatable, but some would say that.
But they use these books in college now.
Yeah, Watchmen is considered literature.
I work by a college campus, and literally I have college students coming in being like, "Well, we have to read the Watchmen for a class project." Like, all the time. It's just like, really?
So, Watchmen was written by Alan Moore back in the 1980s. It was meant to be, and I hate using this word, it was meant to be a deconstruction of superhero comics.
Yeah.
Sort of a dark satire of superhero comics. Sort of making the case for, like, in the real world, superheroes would be fucked up. And it took place in this sort of alternate world where where Nixon stayed president for many, many years, more than 2 terms, and everything got fucked up. America won the Vietnam War, I believe, was one of the major differences.
It was like a fucked up world, like V for Vendetta's world was fucked up.
Yeah, the movie explains this beautifully without a single word in the first 2 minutes. I mean, say what you want about Zack Snyder as a director, the first 2 minutes of the Watchmen movie is an artistic fucking masterpiece alone.
Oh yeah, I was sucked into the movie.
I mean, because people read the book. And, they would think, how could you ever explain all of this history and lore in a movie? You could never do it. Zack Snyder did it in 2 minutes without a single word. That's a good thing right there. So, yeah, Watchmen tells the story of this group of people, not even a group because they're all separated and disparate, but they used to be superheroes. Everything went wrong. The Cold War is ramping up. There's like the nuclear clock. Everyone's afraid of doomsday, the nuclear war. All the superheroes have just, they're all fucked up. They have fucked up lives. They're fucked in the head, most of them. And it's like a mystery story. It starts off, fucking Eddie Blake, the comedian, gets killed, but you don't know who it is. Rorschach is this like deranged fucking like alt-right maniac superhero, like a vigilante. He's trying to piece together the mystery, and I don't know why I'm explaining the plot of Watchmen. Everyone knows what Watchmen is, but
you would think.
Yeah. So Watchmen, it's an important book. It's considered a landmark. Yeah, it's
Alan Moore's writing is beautiful.
It is. Alan Moore's a great writer. I mean, he's not overrated. He's considered like
he's a good boy.
Yeah, I mean, he hates comics. He a lot of people are very bitter towards Alan Moore just because he seems so bitter towards comics and in general. I mean, I think a lot of it is, I mean, and I sympathize with creators in this way. I read the stuff that Alan Moore says in his interviews, and it really seems to me that, like, he's just taken out of context a lot. He's very misinterpreted by fans who are entitled or, a little bit fucked in the head.
Yeah.
I don't think that he hates you. I don't think that he hates he's not as bitter as people say. He's not as crazy as people say. A lot of what he says makes a lot of sense if you just, try to fucking see it.
No crazier than Grant Morrison.
Yeah, exactly. Although Grant Morrison is like the opposite end of that fucking coin, because everything that's like bitter and negative and cynical about Alan Moore's worldview or philosophy on comics, Grant Morrison is like the polar opposite. Like, Grant Morrison loves comics more than anyone in the world, which is what I love about him as a writer. But I mean, yeah, a lot of people are very embittered toward Alan Moore because of some of the stuff he's said about comics and superheroes. But the proof is in the pudding. He's a great writer. He's like almost like a god among insects. I mean, he's a guy who writes literature and just happens to write it as in the pages of a comic book.
Yeah. He doesn't even. It's not even all the time. Like, he's an actual like author. Like he does books and graphic novels.
A lot of people will have the opinion that Watchmen is overrated. A lot of people have, anytime that something is praised to high heaven or considered like a masterpiece or like a work of art, there's always going to be people contrarians who don't like it as much as say that it's overrated. If you don't like The Watchmen, that's fine, but I mean, you can't deny its impact or its legacy. You just, it's just The Watchmen, and I like it. I think it's a great story. I love the characters. I love the whole. I read it a long time ago, but I've seen the movie a bunch of times too. And like you were saying before, 20 minutes ago, before I went off on this insane tangent, I like the movie better than the book. I really do.
Well, it made more sense.
And I don't think a lot of people share that opinion. I think people hate the Watchmen movie, and I don't understand why. It's a good movie. Purists, I guess, is the only answer. Yeah, people. I don't know if it's just like this retroactive Zack Snyder hate. I think that might be some of it, because people hate Zack Snyder, and so like people hate Zack Snyder so much because of Sucker Punch and Batman v Superman. They he says things that pisses off comic books. People hate him so much that I think people like retroactively, even his good movies, people shit on. Like I've seen people shitting on like 300 now. Like, shut the fuck up. When 300 came out, you fucking loved it. Everybody fucking loved 300. I don't want to hear this revisionist history that like 300 was a bad movie. Everyone fucking loved it, including you, all you fucking contrarians who now say it was bad. Fucking, Watchmen was a great movie. The Dawn of the Dead was a great movie, a great remake.
I actually liked Sucker Punch.
You liked Sucker?
I did. It was fun.
I agree with you on most things, but I can't agree with you.
It's fine. No, it's a guilty pleasure. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a director's cut that I never watched.
I hate Sucker Punch so much.
There was a director's cut that apparently made more sense, or like filled in all those plot holes.
It is like so rare that I walk out of a movie theater angry, because I just like going to the movie theater. Even if the movie isn't great, I like walk out like, yeah, I went to the movies tonight. I walked out of Sucker Punch angry. I was like, what the fuck was that?
I didn't say I loved it. I enjoyed it for what it was.
Oh, there you go.
I was hoping that it was a comic book. I was like, well, maybe if it's like a graphic novel series or nah, it was its own fucking thing.
So apparently. I think it's just a combination of people being purists and snobs. Not snobs sounds like I'm insulting people. It's a combination of people being purists and just this retroactive Zack Snyder hate boner that people have because of his recent work.
It's funny though. I've gotten a lot of people on the same page with me though. Like a lot of my customers when we talk about the Watchmen and how people are just like, oh, I love it. I'm like, yeah, but don't you have a problem with like the end of the Watchmen or like the movie? And I'm just like, no,
it was better.
I'm talking about the book.
So,
and I actually had a customer approach me about that first. He was like, I fucking know what you mean. The movie made more sense. I was like, God bless you. God damn it. So good.
Spoiler alert for anyone who isn't familiar with the Watchmen, but. The Watchmen deals with the Cold War ramping up and the looming threat of nuclear war with Russia, because it takes place in the 80s and all that shit. Mm-hmm. So, the big twist at the end, the killer of Eddie Blake is revealed to be one of the old heroes, Ozymandias, who's
a good boy.
He killed Eddie Blake because Eddie Blake became wise to his scheme. He is going to save the world basically by destroying it. It's revealed that because he's a genius. He has a genius intellect.
Ozymandias is the smartest man in the world.
Smartest man in the world. So,
but that comes with
his intelligence. His intelligence has corrupted him, much like my supreme intelligence, some would say, has corrupted me. It's incorrect. I'm a saint. I'm the greatest man who ever lived. I'm a good boy, and I'm smarter than everyone. But Ozymandias is not quite as smart as me, I guess. So he couldn't quite handle the burden of high intelligence. So Ozymandias is a little bit corrupted by this intelligence. So he's looking at the state of the world. He's looking at the Cold War, the looming threat of nuclear devastation, of humanity fighting at war with themselves. Humanity, Ozymandias is basically Nate. He's the best guy ever. He just wants Starfleet so bad. He doesn't care who he has to kill to get his precious he wants humanity to unite so badly. So Ozymandias, he says, the only way to get humanity on the same page, to end global conflict, is to give humanity an enemy that we can rally against together. So he orchestrates this, he creates in a lab this multi-dimensional, like Lovecraftian octopus alien monster. And he orchestrates it to this massive attack on the whole world, this alien monster that he created. He shows up, it destroys cities, it kills billions of people all over the world. Every major country is affected. Every major superpower has an equal tragedy of this monster that he created, and it's portrayed as we've been attacked by an alien race. We have to end this Cold War We have to unite against this common enemy. We have to come together as a species. So Ozymandias' the crux of his character is that he has saved the world by slaughtering billions of innocent people. And that's the moral conundrum at the heart of the story. So that's the comic. The movie changed that to, because movies condense, So the movie changed that to, instead of creating like a weird Lovecraftian alien octopus to destroy the world, Ozymandias he creates an energy that is similar to Dr. Manhattan's energy, a character in the story, Dr. Manhattan. He's a guy, he has radioactive, he can do anything. He can rearrange atoms. He's basically God. Mm-hmm. So he creates an energy that looks to anyone watching like the energy of Dr. Manhattan, he's got godlike power, but he's just trying to live his life. He's very conflicted about this omnipotence that he has. Mm-hmm. So he frames Dr. Manhattan for this. And so the difference is that instead of creating a big monster, he just frames Dr. Manhattan. So instead of humanity believing that an alien race attacked them, humanity just believes that Dr. Manhattan, this walking atom bomb that's been on Earth for all these years, living among them, humanity believes that he's gone crazy and that he's the bad guy. So it's the same basic thing. It's just a little bit more condensed, a little bit more. I think it makes more sense.
It does.
It always
felt like the alien thing was just kind of like a punch to the side of the head.
Yeah.
Like, where the fuck did that come from?
Like when I watched the movie for the first time, I thought that's a good change. Of course, it should be Dr. Manhattan that they blame.
And
it makes
feels
sense.
more emotional.
It makes sense for Dr. Manhattan's arc. I think it makes more sense for it's more circular. I mean, Alan Moore is a great writer, but looking back in hindsight, the alien thing
it would have been
kind of
outdated.
comes out of left field a little bit. I mean, I know that he builds it up. He does put clues in there, but the Dr. Manhattan thing makes more sense to me.
Yeah. I feel like if they did the alien thing now, like if they had remade that movie, or if they released that ending for the movie, I feel like it would have been outdated, and people would have felt like it was out of left field too.
I think if they had done the alien, I mean, the comic book fans might have been happy, but I think the mainstream audience would have hated it, so they had to choose, and I think they made the right choice.
A ton of people didn't even know that the Watchmen movie was based off a graphic novel when that first released. A ton of people that I went to the movie theaters with, did not know it was a graphic novel. Like, they were just like, it just looked cool. It's a superhero movie. And I was just like, okay.
I mean, I'm sure that we will get comments vehemently disagreeing with us on this point.
That's fine.
Yeah.
To each their own, and we're not gonna like.
Because
I'm not saying anything bad about it. I still like the Watchmen.
People feel very strongly about Watchmen.
Yeah, I've noticed there's a very polarized following when it comes to it. But I'm definitely one of those people that just like I'm thrown out of. My investment in the book is really like thrown. I'm jarred when it gets to that point. So I just go with the movie. Even if there are some things about the movie that I'm like, I specifically did not care for Night Owl, but I didn't care for Night Owl in the book either. And Silk Spectre, I had problems with her, but did you ever read the Before Watchmen books?
I read some of them. I wasn't sure how I felt about those, so I didn't read all of them, but I read...
Which one did you read?
Oh, fuck.
Do you remember?
You know what? I don't think I read any of them myself. I've seen analyses of them. I've seen people talk about them. So I know the stories. I think I read the comedian one.
See, that one's a little disappointing. Because it like... I don't know. I don't want to get into it.
Because they, in the movie, they do this flashback with this guy Moloch, who is a supervillain. He's an old arch nemesis of the Watchmen, back when they were heroes. Mm-hmm. They do this moment where it's revealed in a flashback that right after the comedian learned of Ozymandias' plan, the comedian is an amoral character. He's done terrible things. Mm-hmm.'s got his own moral compass. He's just a shitty guy. He's an asshole. He's very cynical. He doesn't believe in humanity. He's done with it. He doesn't give a shit.
I love him.
He's a good boy. But so there's this moment in The Watchmen where when it does the flashback to how the moment when the comedian realized what Ozymandias was scheming and couldn't tell anyone, he has this breakdown and he sort of repents and he breaks into Moloch's apartment, his old arch nemesis, this old supervillain. Because what does a comic book supervillain like Moloch compared to a real villain like Ozymandias, who's going to slaughter billions of people. So the comedian breaks down, and he has this sort of, and this is revealed via Moloch being interrogated, right? Being by someone, by Rorschach.
I think so.
Moloch reveals this, that Eddie came into his apartment one night and was crying in tears about, not speaking nonsense. Like he's gonna kill everyone. They're gonna fucking kill. So it's this bittersweet character moment for the comedian right before his death, where even though he's like the worst guy ever, compared to this evil, he suddenly is fucking repenting. Like, oh my god, So right before he died, he sort of had this moment of repenting, he reconciliation with this old supervillain Moloch, and in the comic before Watchmen, they do this thing where it flashes back to like the night JFK was assassinated.
Yeah.
And they do the same thing where he like shares a beer with Moloch, like, oh man, we're bad guys, but we're also friends in the wake of this tragedy. And it just like invalidates the moment in the original story.
Yeah.
To say that, like, I mean, like, it's like in The Killing Joke, when the whole book is building up this theme of like one bad day can make also by Alan Moore, by the way.
Yeah.
Of, the Joker is as much a victim of his own madness as anyone else is, and Batman is as much a victim of his own madness. This idea that the Joker and Batman are just on this collision course that is going to end in one of their deaths. None of them can get off it, and they're both aware of it. And there's, the moment at the end, which is often debated, but it's since been, elaborated on by the author himself, so we know exactly what he means because he said so in his own words. I don't want to hear any fucking death of the author arguments. You can suck my dick if you want to fucking argue with me on this. Alan Moore himself said what fucking happened. He said it in his own words. Was at the end of the book. They have this moment where Batman and the Joker have this kind of this moment, this brief interlude in their lifelong struggle. Tomorrow they're going to be fighting again. Yesterday they were fighting. Tomorrow they're going to be fighting again. But this one brief moment where the Joker just tells a joke the joke is a metaphor about how fucked up this situation is, and they just laugh together. They have this one moment of humanity in this sea of violence and madness that is the Batman and the Joker's life as a vigilante and a criminal. And it would be like if they took that moment in The Killing Joke and then like retconned it to where there was another time where Batman and the Joker were like hanging out and playing video games like a year before.
Yeah.
Like it would retroactively ruin that moment. And that's kind of what they have this moment where Eddie is having this big character breakthrough right before he dies in the original story, and they just take that and they go, oh, here's a prequel to Watchmen that we're fucking shitting out for more money.
Yeah.
Just whatever shekels we can rake out of Alan Moore's fucking ideas, because since we own them, since we're like the parasites that we are, the corporate parasites that we are, what can we do to fucking pimp this out and just do the same thing over again, but as a prequel, and that like invalidates and lessens the impact of what happened in the original story.
Yeah.
What a crock of shit.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. The comedian one was the one I was looking forward to the most, and
Yeah.
that was the one I was most disappointed by. And I ended up being the most surprised by the Silk Spectre story by before Watchmen.
I think I read some of that. I don't think I remember it, but
It was just fun. But it was drawn by Amanda Connor, so that made it even more fun. I really like her artwork. And I, of course, really enjoyed the Ozymandias before Watchmen, but that was also done by one of the Dark Tower artists that I really love and enjoy.
oh yeah, the Dark Tower books have great art.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, that's our opinions on Watchmen.
So the end of Watchmen, the end of Watchmen is that Ozymandias has achieved peace, but at what cost? And also, it might be fleeting anyways, because we have Rorschach's journal sent in the mail to the newspaper, and that's left, open to, it's ambiguous. Dr. Manhattan has that line, like, what does he say? Everything ends. Mm-hmm. This is, you're an idiot. Mm-hmm. You might be the smartest man, but I'm a god, and I can see the future, and I'm telling you, you fucked up. Mm-hmm. Fuck you. And I've had enough of humanity, so...
And it just fucks off.
So Dr. Manhattan, he fucks off to outer space. He says, maybe in time, I will create new life. I will become a god to a new universe and see if it turns out better this time. So that's where that's where the story of Watchmen leads off. And it's sort of implied by this DC Universe stuff that Dr. Manhattan is the god of the DC Universe, or that at least that he's fucked it up, that he is the force that has taken this continuity away, and that eventually he might be the big bad that they have to come together.
That's what I'm hoping for.
I mean, how do you come up with an enemy for the Justice League that is like more powerful than Darkseid or Brainiac, or how do you find a bigger threat than something they've already fought? You find fucking Dr. Manhattan. He's basically the most powerful comic book character of all time. And I mean, maybe people, I guess if there's like a Dr. Manhattan fan out there, they might have a problem with it. Like, Dr. Manhattan would be nice to that, but I mean, I can see it. I can see, we don't know his motivations yet. We don't know if he's gone crazy or if he's just evil now, or if he's, seeing things in some godlike way that, we can't comprehend. Hopefully the story is written well and we can, I mean, hey man, if you were Dr. Manhattan, you might be evil too. I mean, have any of you fellas out there ever had blue balls? You know what it's like?
That's where you're going with this?
You know what it's like having blue balls when someone just when you got that big old boner and you're like, let's do it, babe, and she's like, yeah, but I gotta wash my puss first, and she goes to the bathroom and you don't see her for 10 minutes. She comes back and like, I don't want to do it anymore. You were gone for 10 minutes. You ever have blue balls? You're looking at me like, if you don't fucking edit this out, I'm gonna. Where are you going? Where are you going? Come back. Come back or you're fired from the panel cast. Please come back. You're hired. Where'd you go? So anyways, nothing's worse than having blue balls, and nobody in history has ever had bluer balls than Dr. Manhattan. That's where I was going with that joke, obviously, and it sort of got derailed there. Dr. Manhattan, blue balls. Everyone's seen his blue balls. Everyone's seen his big blue dick.
Everyone's seen it.
His big blue dick. Dr. Manhattan, he just swoops in. This is superhero power. He swoops in. He goes, hey, DC, hey, Batman, look at my dick and balls. Look at my dick and balls. Look at my dick and my balls. Hey, Flash, look at my dick and my balls. How cool would it be if the culmination of this whole event, they finally come face to face with Dr. Manhattan, and the only words he says are, look at my dick and my balls. 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 Nuclear dong.
Oh,
Nuclear dong. Omnipotent dong. Oh, no. Omnipotent dong. Look at my dick and my balls. Omnipotent dong. Cerulean dong. Cerulean. I love the word cerulean.
I do too. It's one of my favorites.
And I love the word dong. If you haven't noticed, if it hasn't been made apparent to listeners of the panel cast, dong is a funny fucking word.
Oh my god. Well, we've officially gone into 2 hours now, almost?
2 hours.
Yeah. What do you think? Good to end on the Watchmen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Okay.
Well,
I hope this was tolerable. Like a tolerable return, at the very least. Oh my god.
Well, everybody, yep, that's the glorious return of the panel cast. Maybe there'll be another panel cast someday. You never know. You never know with anything that I do.
Good night.